Okay, my name's Zakashi guys, and in this video here we're going to be discussing 5 things that need to be changed in Sparking Zero. Now I've been playing this game for a long time and I haven't actually been posting any videos like that. I've posted some shorts, TikToks, but nothing seriously long form, and that's simply because I just wanted to enjoy the game thoroughly. I have been streaming every single day pretty much, so if you want to see me play the game, I'm live every single day, 7 PM UK time, sometimes 8. But with that being said, there is some room to be complained about with Sparking Zero. By no means is this game perfect, and a lot of people that are blinded by nostalgia, maybe a bias just because it's Dragon Ball, definitely feel like this game is perfect just because it is the way it is. Now, before I go into any more explaining, I do understand that the game is intended to be balanced. In this video, I'm neither implying that this game should be competitive, but there are some things that are clearly wrong in this game that just don't make it as optimal as it could be for the best gaming experience. A lot of people agree with a lot of things here, a lot of people might disagree, but overall, if you have any points that you'd like to bring up, definitely leave them below in the comment section. These are things I've seen complained about, but also things that I might also agree with, but I'm picking 5 of the best, so let me know what you think about everything I say in this video. Let's get into it. Right, so the first thing I gotta mention straight away, the vanishes. I feel like in every single game it's getting super repetitive. When you're vanishing against somebody, you're just pressing R1, assuming you're on the standard controls for PlayStation 5, you're just pressing R1 at the exact same tempo, and that's making it very repetitive. Every single game is just a battle of ki, to the point where you don't even need to bother if you know you have less ki than the person. Both of you are going to get pretty consistent when you're pressing R1, and at that point it's just about who has more ki, who has less ki, and God forbid the other person's in sparking mode, because you might as well just put the fries in the bag knowing that you're going to have less ki than them. You might run down their sparking mode, cool, but you're going to get hit at the end of it, and depending on who they're using, it's pretty much a 3-0 in a lot of cases, which is obviously not a good experience. Now, I do understand there is ways to get out of this. For example, you could just win the R1 battle, the vanish battle. It's very doable. It's not something to complain about, you could say. And on top of that, you can also super counter. So if you know that the person's going to vanish behind you and they're going to hit one of those attacks, you just super counter instead of going for the battle. That would allow you to actually get out of that situation. But then again, you could just go super counter for super counter, so it puts you back in the same loop. Now, what I'm looking for here as a solution is that they make the tempo of the vanishes faster. I believe this was something that existed in the older games. So as you're vanishing, pressing R1, just trying to get the right timing to make sure that the person doesn't hit you in the back, and rather you hit them in the back. If the tempo increases, it will make it a lot more difficult to keep up, basically forcing people out of that vanish wall faster. It would make it a lot more competitive to a degree, but also make it a lot more fun because it's not just repetitive R1 presses. Again, I'm not looking for the game to necessarily be insanely competitive, but if the tempo of you vanishing between each other sped up as you went along, it would make it a lot more difficult and not force you to be vanishing for half a game, especially if both of you have full ki. Imagine both of you in sparking mode, you're attacking, you're just pressing R1. Come on, man, that's not that fun. It is amazing to see. I'm not gonna lie, I love watching those R1 battles. It's like, who's gonna win? And somebody has to be way more consistent than the other person. But if the tempo increased, you have to be even more consistent and lock in even harder, and I think that would make it a lot more fun. Let me know what you guys think about that one, but I really think this is a fix that should be implemented very quickly. Next up, we got after image strike. We all face this. We've all faced this. Super Vegito, I think GT Kid Goku does it. These guys are annoying to fight. Kid Gohan as well, I think he has it as well. Krillin and Pan, I believe, also has it. There's a lot of people that have this. It's not a Super Vegito exclusive thing. However, because Super Vegito is the best character with it, it makes him a very big inconvenience to fight, especially if you don't know how to counter it. Now, I don't think they should necessarily nerf after image strike. The ability itself is meant to be broken. Like I said at the start of the video, this game is unbalanced. It's intentionally unbalanced. So nerfing Super Vegito wouldn't be the best thing to do in my opinion. I think simply they should make it that it costs more. I believe after image strike only costs 3 skill points and Super Vegito can max out at 6. If he fills up all the way to 6, he'll use after image strike, and by the time he's finished that one, he will still have 3 skill points plus how much skill points he has increased based on possible damage he's taken and time that's gone past, because the skill points are naturally always refilling. As a result, if it costed more, people wouldn't be able to abuse it as much, but it would still be broken because you're still paying a price for it. So the ability itself, I don't necessarily think it should be nerfed. Maybe it should be nerfed, maybe it lasts too long, but my biggest concern is that it's too easy to access. The skill points cost needs to go up for the usage of it. That needs to happen instantly. 3 skill points is absurd, and then by the time he's activated that, you're gonna get hit by an ultimate or something. He's gonna do insane damage. You're really just gonna get smacked, especially if you don't know how to counter it. But I will end this segment by saying there are ways to counter it. For example, with Ki Blast, and if you're your timing is really good with your perception, using that effectively, and you could just sidestep in a lot of cases. You can really get around him, also potentially grabbing him. But yeah, just increase the cost even to just 4. 5 is fine with me, but 4 is fine because 3 is just way too accessible in my opinion. In the same way I said nerf after image strike by increasing the cost, instant sparking mode needs to be stopped. Instant sparking mode is getting me so mad. I'm sure a lot of people have this complaint as well. It just doesn't make sense to not use a character that has instant sparking mode, because everybody that does is going to be spamming ultimates or heavy attacks while having way more ki than you. You can have 0 ki and you hit that instant sparking mode, bro, you got that sparking mode and the full bars of ki. It's super effective, and it only costs 3 skill points. Again, with this one, I don't necessarily think they should nerf it. So going into sparking mode is just a thing. They're not going to take it out. So many characters have it, especially with the skill points. I just think it should cost more. With a lot of characters, it's only costing 3 skill points. You can easily gain 6 skill points, go into sparking mode, hit ultimate, then go into sparking mode immediately after, with a lot of people's ultimates that are blinding other people. If you're blinded, you can't lock onto your enemy immediately, so they have the free opportunity to basically go into sparking mode. You're just gonna have to hope you don't get backdoored, and that's not a good way, a good fun way to play the game, honestly. 2 sparking modes with legendary Super Saiyan Broly can take you out. His ultimate hits so much, it's actually absurd, and other characters as well can easily copy the same type of thing. If not 2, they're gonna do 2 and just punch you a couple times, you're done. And you know, sometimes super counts are not instant, you know, you have to time it. So ultimately, the cost of these instant sparking modes, skill point costs need to go up. The fact that it's only 3 is really cheap in my opinion. It should definitely be higher than that, so we could see more fun play. I don't want to just get ulted twice and lose the game, especially when I was genuinely dominating the person. They're gonna get their skill points fast, they go in sparking mode, they do it a second time, and then boom, I'm dead. Come on, that's some BS, bro. It should definitely cost more. It shouldn't be that easily accessible for how overpowered sparking mode is. This one here is specific for legendary Super Saiyan Broly. It's easily the most annoying thing I've experienced in ranked PvP as I play singles. If you play singles, you know you're running into the same characters over and over again. MUI Goku, G4, Beerus, Gogeta Blue, I guess, Super Vegito. You guys know the guys. Nothing wrong with that in my opinion. Obviously there's complaints because there's no variety, but overall that's how it's going to be, because people want to use characters that are good, because their intention is to make this game unbalanced. But there's one character I have an issue with: the legendary Super Saiyan Broly. This guy here is a problem. This guy here in sparking mode, bear in mind it costs 3 to get him in sparking mode, very cheap skill points, very easily accessible. If not that, he can just charge into it. He has super armor, so this guy here, he can just do ki blast towards you and you basically can't get out, and then he will just float towards you and he's just gonna dominate you the whole time. If you ki blast him back, he has super armor, so he doesn't get phased by it. Some of the punches that you do on him, he doesn't get phased by it because he's got super armor. He's bulky as hell, and that allows him to just abuse you literally without any effort. Then God forbid he ultimates you, 2 of those can take out your whole life bar. It does more than 2 bars. That is absurd, the amount of damage he's outputting, and the fact that you basically can't touch him. This guy is so cheesy, especially in the higher ranks. People just enter sparking mode and they start spamming those ki blasts into his unblockable ultimate. Unblockable ultimates must be stopped. In addition, I think the concept of unblockable ultimates is pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, some people, they deserve it. They deserve it. How are you blocking a Hakai, bro? You're not stronger than Beerus. You're not blocking that. Do you get what I'm saying? If Beerus' ultimate was a Hakai, you're not blocking that. Legendary Super Saiyan Broly, he's meant to be a menace. Some characters are meant to be menacing like that, but it's the addition of everything that goes into him. So in this case, I'm complaining about the super armor because that's how he starts his combos. He can just rush towards you, ki blasting you. God forbid he's in sparking mode, then you're gonna get hit with a unblockable ultimate. Again, he should be broken, but this is unplayable. It's absolute cheese to the point where you know you're not gonna get in the best scenario. Again, there's always ways to counter characters, but with a character like this, they clearly have such a large advantage. It's unfair. It's not even unfair in the sense that it's meant to be unbalanced. It's unfair to the point where it's an exploit, and that's why I think it should be changed. But yeah, legendary Super Saiyan Broly specifically, this one you had to get your own segment because wow man, that's too much. Now this one here, I think a lot of people would claim it as a bug, but I really think it should be changed so it's just a lot more smooth. In general, the inputs in this game can be a bit clunky. I'm sure you guys have noticed it, especially when you're switching characters characters, when you're trying to get ultimate off in some cases, when you're holding R2, it doesn't immediately chain what you want it to. You're pressing the button and it might just be following up another input. So you have to kind of slow down your whole roll when you're playing the game. There's a lot of cases where I try to pull out ultimate, and I've seen a lot of people go through this as well, and it just doesn't work. Sometimes I'm literally watching the enemy do it and they're holding R2 and they're spamming circle and they're trying to hit their ultimate, but it doesn't work because for some reason, even though they're holding R2, their perception's coming out. It's more so because of how you input things and the timing based on the animations you're already in. I already understand the process because I've worked around it, but I really think that the input should be a lot more smoother and still register, given that you're holding R2 in circle. The combination shouldn't only make the circle output come out. So perception is circle on its own, but if I do R2 in circle in sparking mode, then it would be the ultimate. But if I do it right after a certain animation, the ultimate won't come out and it will only register the circle as perception. In a lot of cases as well, when you're trying to switch out, when you're doing certain combos, it comes out a lot slower than you need it to, and then sometimes the inputs, you're trying to run it and it's just not working, which could lead you to losing a character very easily. They should definitely just make the inputs a lot smoother, and there's already been a lot of other issues with inputs not registering the way they wished, controls not working perfectly. For example, bugs with the controller setting being player 1, player 2, classic and standard. These are all things that are really annoying to deal with. The game definitely isn't perfect. I want to put that out there. It's a very good game. It just genuinely isn't perfect. They definitely should have dropped the beta to see how things would go out. They did drop those stations where you could have gone to play it, but obviously depending on the country you was in, you couldn't play it. For example, me, I'm in the United Kingdom. I think there was only like one place out of the whole time that Sparking Zero wasn't out that you could have played it in the UK. But in America, I know they had a lot of places, and Japan. Overall, a lot more things need to be tested and smoothed out, and I feel like genuinely the inputs are not smooth enough. They need to be a lot better, and simply right now I'm working around them. I'm sure a lot of people are working around them. I'm not saying the inputs are completely bad. They can just be smoothened out a bit. I know you've heard Dragon Ball fans can't read, but have you heard Dragon Ball fans can't count? Just kidding. But I have a bonus one, and somehow this is the most annoying one, but I think it's the biggest thing ruining my experience. Obviously all of these I've probably said are the most annoying one, but really and truly there are changes that need to be made. But this one, they need to punish rage quitters, and quickly. They need to give them at least a warning so they know not to rage quit. Even if they turn off their console, they need to give them warnings, because people are doing some dark stuff in this ranked scene. A lot of people be higher ranked if people didn't forfeit. Not even forfeiting, they're closing app, rage quitting, turning off their console, rage quitting. That is poor, especially when you're going up against these trash ash mechanics. Legendary Super Saiyan Broly, After Image Super Vegito, you know, they're unbalanced mechanics intentionally, so people are choosing the most OP mechanics, which is fine, but then you're gonna rage quit on top. Do better, man. Bandai, lock in, man. I have so many people that have rage quit on me. It's disgusting, because I would have so much more points on the leaderboard if people didn't rage quit. It's genuinely the most unrewarding experience ever. At least if these guys are getting banned, I'll feel like, all right, cool, I'll never see them again. But too many guys are doing that, man. It's very scummy, very unwarranted, especially when they're using characters that are too cheesy. But yeah, man, that's going to be my input on what I think should be changed in Sparking Zero. These were the 5 biggest things that I thought about, but of course there's definitely more things. I've played this game enough to know there's definitely more things, and things that could be complained about, but I don't want people to complain too much. These are things that could easily be fixed just based on playing the game, things that genuinely make the game a worse experience, but I still want the game to be unbalanced as intended. The Budokai Tenkaichi series is not meant to be one of those games, to the point where things are exploited or just not fun. That's not a good thing, man. That is not a good thing. Everybody's line is going to be different on where they draw it, and I've seen a lot of people get called out for quote-unquote complaining, and some people are just complaining too much. I think the biggest example is the After Image strike. Yes, it is broken, but it's Super Vegito. He's meant to be one of the best, and if they nerf it, what else is he gonna have? He will just be regular. The cost thing is the best way to go about it, in my opinion, but to say it shouldn't be in the game when it is counterable, I think that's overly complaining. But let me know what you guys think. If you haven't already, make sure to press the subscribe button. We're on this grind to 200,000 subscribers. I appreciate you guys for watching the video, man. My name is Zakashi, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one, man.